This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to We'll Run For. This is your host, Tom, and with me as always are Aaron.
Hello.
Michael.
Hello.
And Diana.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Great.
Great? Oh, wow.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have healthy feet. I feel good.
Ew.
Your feet are not
God.
healthy.
It's
They're not
disgusting.
healthy.
Your toes would suggest
I can't
otherwise.
live with this man anymore. I can't. I cannot. I don't know. I can't live with this man.
Do you want me to do it like this? Is this better?
Like, seriously.
That is not only Yams material.
Michael, we were going to make money off of feet, and you're causing us to go into the red.
Look.
I feel like it's like a niche that I would
There's a
fill.
market. There's a market
Oh my
out there for
God.
everything.
I'm telling you, I run lots of miles, and my toes are intact and painted and cute little toes.
Mine are painted black. Didn't
Well, that's
you notice?
because you got your shoes fitted properly, correct, and
Mm-hmm.
have correct size shoes.
Yeah.
My shoes fit fine. I kicked a rock.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's
Sure,
this
sure.
time. That's not the
Full
lingering
speed.
problems that are going on.
It's true.
Oh, God. Well,
boy.
Yeah, we're in the thick of it. I'm sitting here with ice on my legs.
Oh boy.
Yeah, not injury, just maintenance. Just maintenance for me.
Oh, because your miles are going way up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're getting up there.
Well, before we start, do we want to do our quick cleanup work? I mean, we still didn't pick a spot for Philly Marathon.
No, but I
because
did look at the map.
Michael failed at that.
Someone
No, I
did
didn't. I
something.
looked at
Oh,
the
you
map.
looked at the map
I looked at the map.
because we don't have another episode before Philadelphia Marathon comes out.
Somewhere around mile 1, somewhere around mile 6, and then we can get over towards the end of the race.
Okay.
All right.
Look for us.
Well, that's specific. So,
We will put it in our Facebook group.
oh,
Which is the other part of the
We'll post it
announcements,
everywhere
right? You
when
know,
we
well,
know
we
exactly,
will. I'm
yeah.
just saying that we'll maybe create even a Facebook invite so that people just can take a look at whatever we decide
Yeah.
Yeah.
with ease.
Yep.
And then we'll post it on our Instagram stories and put it in our highlights so that you can access that. But you heard it here first. Mile 1, mile 6, and then if you're running the marathon, you got 20 miles without us.
No, I think we can get to some miles in between there, but I want to
Okay.
make sure.
And
we
then-
also have to eat at some point, so I don't want to.
And Tom and I have to run 9 miles that day.
Well, you'll be getting plenty of miles on
We
your
could walk a
feet. We
lot
could
of it,
probably
yeah.
walk almost that.
Actually, yeah, we could. If you're running the race the day before, we could walk a lot of it and track the course and
Oh,
stuff. you know?
yeah. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, time on feet is like really what's most important anyway,
That's,
right?
that's been our motto
yes,
for
it has been.
for the last
Yeah.
several weeks.
Yeah, it's a good motto. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it's a really good motto, especially towards the end of Dopey Weekend when you've just been on your feet all that time. Having some experience with that will help get you through it. So cheer table for Philadelphia. We will announce it all over our social media, create a Facebook event for it. And again, we have a new Facebook group. Come find it. We'll run for a Facebook group. And then once again, the meetup for Marathon Weekend is on Friday at 1 p.m. in Disney Springs over by the food trucks, which is over by the AMC Theater,
Mm-hmm.
kind of between Splitsville and the Starbucks.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah, and
the one on the
Over
west
by the
side.
water.
Yeah,
I think we can also do a Facebook event, right, on our
Yes,
group for
we
that.
will do that. I actually meant to do that already. Life has been very busy at work, so I have not had any time to myself
Understandable.
other than doing actual work.
Mm-hmm. What? We
Womp
have
womp.
jobs? This isn't pay? Anything?
Not yet.
Yeah.
What else do we have? The scavenger hunt.
Whoop, whoop.
We concluded that on the 31st, and we had a ton of people
I loved
showing up for that.
Yes,
My
It was
like
so much fun.
Instagram reels were so fun when that was going on. I was so happy.
So many people. We had somebody who actually sent a video of them howling at the moon.
I love it.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So we had we had a few videos with jumping through actual leaves. And then we had some creative stuff too. We had someone who sent us a picture of a ring that had a black cat on it.
Yep. It counts.
You got to get what you can get.
Yep.
That's it.
So we have our prize pack coming out, and we are about to announce the winner.
And it is Lisa Knits and Trains.
Wow. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Love it.
We will mail out, or I will message you, and you can let us know your address or where you want us to send it, and we will have that out to you by hopefully next week.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yay! I'm jealous
There we
because
go.
I did not buy those gooders, and they're very cute.
I bought myself a pair of them, and then I went to Michael's race with them on, and about 10 people stopped me and were like, "Are those the new gooders?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And I made everyone jealous.
They should be.
Very cool. And thank you to everybody else who participated. We love those kind of events because it really gets people, I don't know, excited about running and putting in your miles and any distractions when you're out there.
It was such a good distraction.
Yeah, really.
We would go down little side streets and stuff we normally wouldn't because we'd kind of see something in the distance and we're like, oh, I think there's some decorations down there. Let's walk down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Because we don't live in an insane Halloween town like you guys.
Oh God, yes. We had there's contests and all kind. I mean, these houses are they one up each other.
It was pretty
it's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
do we have any new 5-star reviews?
Ooh.
Apparently we have one. So remember, always reviews if you can, share the show, all that. We appreciate it. Run, Lauren, Run, 13.1. Great podcast. I started listening a few months ago and I'm almost caught up. I found this from Rise and Run and I'm glad I did. Oh,
Aw,
Thank
love
you, guys.
those guys over at Rise and Run.
Yep.
Mhm.
Sending us all your listeners.
Yeah, really. As of this recording, pretty much all of the Rise and Run folks are down at Wine and Dine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just listening
Ugh.
to their
So much FOMO.
I know. I was just listening to their episode where they were talking about obviously Wine and Dine, but then also all the food at Food and Wine.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
Bob was all enamored with the mac and cheese.
Oh.
Definitely jealousy going on here.
Well, you guys are gonna get the
Festival of the Holidays.
Festival of the Holidays, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
excited.
I love the festival.
Yeah, I
of
like the
holidays.
Festival
Yeah.
of the Holidays too. Are you guys gonna do the cookie stroll?
Yep, we're gonna do that. We're going to the Very Merry Christmas Party, which we
Oh,
haven't
nice.
done in a few years. So it'll be really, really good. I was looking at all the treats for the Very Merry Christmas Party and I
Yeah.
got really excited.
Yeah.
They've got some hot dog that Tom's excited about that has cranberry sauce and pieces of funnel cake on it.
That sounds ridiculous.
It's yeah.
Happy holidays.
Looking forward to it.
Did you give Lauren her miles? Did you run
I
for her?
did last weekend.
Ah. See, look, he's already got you. See, the dopey training's the perfect time because
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
he's going to be out there.
It's banking them miles.
He doesn't need the motivation right now because he's just got to go do them no matter what.
Mhm.
Yeah, if anybody would like to leave a review, we have
Absolutely. Give his miles a purpose.
we have 16 miles on this coming Saturday to do. So that's 3 reviews if anybody wants to leave one.
It doesn't matter. They won't find out about that until it's too late by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
That's
So you
true.
would have had to have Yeah.
Time doesn't matter.
And the New England ladies can still be shaming him because he's been running after work, so he hasn't gotten up and run in the dark and the cold yet.
Fuck.
Well, it also hasn't been that
It's been like
cold
75 degrees every day. Yeah.
It's been insanely warm again. It's going to be, oof.
So warm.
I'm sorry, New Yorkers.
Oh, yeah.
The New York Marathon this weekend is
going to be a warm one.
Close to 77 is last I saw.
Yeah.
Although good for us at our aid station in the New Jersey Pinelands for the Batona Trail race.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're just going to be standing there and we're not going to be cold.
Yeah, last year we
Frozen.
did it when Michael was running, Megan and Emily and I had like winter jackets on, 3 layers of gloves on, our hats on. I mean, it was so cold out there that morning.
It's going to be 75 degrees.
It's going to be like a low of 60.
That's
so it'll be
wild.
60
Yeah, it's
when
going to be
we
really
start.
nice. Yeah.
That is
But
wild.
Wine and Dine is supposed to be like in the mid 80s, and New York is
75.
like 75, 77.
Yeah, it's rough,
Don't
but
cook.
It's
Yeah.
I'd love
a
it.
little too late to tell you this, but all of you should hydrate.
Yeah.
And if you listen to this the day after the marathon, we hope you hydrated.
Yeah. I hope you
and
hydrated.
that you had an
yeah.
amazing race.
Yes. Yes.
Hope it was a great race, everyone.
All right. So, what are we running for this week?
Ew.
What?
I just noticed what DMD's is.
I know.
What? Oh, God.
All right.
I,
Michael, what are you running
Now
for
you
this
have to
week?
tell the people.
as of this recording, I'm actually not running this week because I'm recovering from the race last week. So,
Okay.
And you got to give your
I'm-
toes a rest. Good God.
yes,
Oh my God, they
I'm
are-
not running until my big toenail falls off.
It is disgusting. It's so bad, guys. It's.
Actually, I'm probably going to run this
I was
weekend.
gonna say you're not gonna be able to wait for that thing to fall off.
No, I'm fine running with it the way it is. I don't care.
It's flopping around, guys.
It's not. It is not flopping
waving
around
in the
yet.
wind.
It was.
It's loose, but it's not flopping
God, I
around.
hate it.
It's amazing.
I hate
Is there a
it
tooth fairy
so
for this?
much.
Can I get? Will you put money under my pillow?
I will not.
The toenail fairy?
What? Yeah, if I put the toenail under my pillow, will you give me money?
Could you
Oh,
imagine what the
God.
toenail fairy would look like?
All right, I'm gonna put out a contest right now. I'm going
Yes.
rogue. If any of our listeners want to put together a costume and take a picture of themselves as the toenail
As the
fairy,
We will. I tell you what. We'll send them a pair of gooders of our choosing.
I'm just saying.
100%. Best toenail fairy gets a pair of gutters.
That's it. That's it.
Why?
Yeah.
Hey,
Usual way through Instagram, of course.
please,
Hit us up.
please do.
Swear to God. This is a
cannot.
legit contest, so
Absolutely.
do it.
I hope
I
someone
cannot
comes
with
to
these
marathon
people.
weekend dressed as the toenail fairy.
Toenail fairy.
Somebody has to show up to our meetup as the toenail fairy. I
Hey,
can't believe
hey,
that this is
and this is a
happening.
term of endearment. We have a lot of trolls that listen to this thing.
This is fair.
Have at
It's
it.
fair.
Get them.
Go for it.
I can't.
All right.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I'm running for. This is kind of stupid, but the concept of eating an elephant, because how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I am taking every day, and I said this last time, but I'm taking every day as its own, like day by day. And I'm really trying not to get intimidated by the miles that we have on our training plan. But yeah, they're getting up there. Every weekend it's going to be double-digit runs and recovery and do it again and yada yada yada. We
Mhm.
have a couple 20 milers coming up. It is what it is. Just taking it a day at a time.
It's just.
It's the only way you can get through it, to be
That's
honest.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's no,
That's it.
and I think I had this conversation with my friend Mindy the other day. Was like that. It's just, she was saying she had a bad 16 miler and she was worried about her 17 miler. And I said, once you're done with the run, it's one of those things you got to look at the run that's
Just
on your
done.
calendar
Yeah.
Mhm.
and not think about the miles ahead or behind,
Yeah.
because the rest of it doesn't matter at that. You just got to concentrate on what's
Yeah, because you can't go
in
back
front
and
of you
change
that
that.
day.
You know?
Yeah, and maybe it's stunk, but that 60 miler is preparing you for your 17 or 18 miler.
Yeah.
You gotta take them as they come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually
So,
ran with
I
Tom
agree.
for 14 miles, just the two of us. We've never done that
Aw.
before.
Wow.
It was fine.
You've never done that before?
Not for that long.
Not one-on-one.
Not one-on-one.
Wow. That's weird concept, I guess, because Michael and I run so many miles together.
Yeah, we hardly ever run together.
Well, not anymore, but whatever.
We'll either run like as a big group, or if we run together, it's not that far, or we'll walk.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
walk together a lot, but like we don't like go for a run together. I'm
Yeah.
spoiled now, and I can't run by myself anymore. And my running girls were both busy and couldn't run with me. So I was like, guess who's running 14 miles with you?
And I was like, guess who's slowing down today?
It was great. I loved it. Well, I'm running because it is the first week in November and we still have an obscene amount of Halloween candy. So I've just been mainlining that because I'm hungry and tired all the time. So
we didn't get
Twix and
yeah.
Butterfingers and all the goodness.
We didn't get any trick-or-treaters. We don't get a lot usually. We usually maybe get one or two in general, but like we didn't get any.
Mm-hmm.
And our poor neighbor, like she put a lot of effort into like decorating her patio and then like her front door, and she had like a bowl of candy out. And I went to walk Archie in the morning and everything was untouched. Like literally nobody came by, and I'm like, this poor girl. She didn't know. Like she had no idea. And I mean, we live in an apartment complex and we're kind of at the end of a street. So even if there are trick-or-treaters, they may not come back this far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just, I miss trick-or-treating. Like I would love to live in your neighborhood in some of those areas. I know.
Yeah, we didn't get any because we're kind of on a main road.
I think we would have gotten a few if we had, because we didn't buy candy until that day, and then we had to buy non-Halloween candy because it was all that was left.
No, we bought Reese's and Kit
Well,
Kats.
I know,
like,
but I
what'd you
mean, they
get?
weren't the
Smarties?
I'm like, what are you talking about? It was Reese's.
No, it was
we
it was good candy, but it wasn't like the Halloween packs.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I
it
mean?
was
So
just
it's more
like-
expensive, but so I was afraid to turn the light on that we would get too many kids. But there was a bunch of kids that walked past on
There
their
weren't
way.
that many though.
But there would have been enough where we could have got rid of our candy.
I don't know about that either because I think we would have been afraid that we were going to
Yeah.
get more trick or treaters and we would have.
That was my
been
fear.
conservative.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't end up really with. I think also it rained, so
It was
I
raining
think
here.
that hindered it too.
Oh, it's in the evening.
yeah,
it did,
because
so
that
it
was the night
tamped
the
it down.
Phil's
Yeah.
game got postponed.
Rained out, yeah,
because
yeah.
it was rained out. So yeah. The other neighborhoods, though, I mean, I
Are
just think that where we are,
Crazy, yeah.
we're like on a main street
Mhm.
where like people don't want to cross it a lot and like that kind of thing. So I don't think anyway we would have gotten a ton.
Yeah, it's true.
But so now we have Reese's and Kit Kats and
Yeah, just a couple small bags, nothing crazy.
like
so.
some Hershey's stuff.
Mm,
I don't know, whatever.
I love it. I love candy.
It's a pretty big bowl. I don't know what you're talking about. Like
Save
a
it-
little bit.
save
There's
it
a
for
lot
the
of candy in
Philly.
there.
Marathon.
Mhm.
Give out some
Oh,
candy.
that's a good idea.
It'll be gone.
It
Why?
it reminds me of like when I was race chasing Dopey when y'all did it, when the big shenanigans year.
Mm.
I was like standing on Main Street and I just had loose small candy in my hand,
Yeah.
and like all these runners were just coming by and taking candy out of my hand. That was
Yeah.
pre-COVID times.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that would
it
not
wasn't
happen
like
now.
unwrapped candy.
Yes, it would. Yes, it absolutely would. I've still taken candy from
I've
people.
taken a loose
Yeah.
Twizzler from like a man on the street during a race. Like I don't know
I
what you
don't
do.
know.
But
I
Saying.
don't think anyone.
yeah, it was all the Christmas candy because like every year, and we keep telling her not to. But Tom's mom and his sister both do it. They each get us a stocking, and they don't do anything but they'll put like a couple like little like toiletry stuff in it. But then the whole thing is just filled with candy, and we get 4 of them because we get one from his sister and one from his mom. So we have
Mm.
like all of this candy. So we just like dumped it and brought it down to Florida.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether it lasts until then.
Well, you have a teenager.
If you're
in the
running the
house.
Philadelphia Marathon, by the way, let us know what you want ahead of time. We can have chips, we can have candy, we can have Coke, we can have a whole supply of stuff. There's 4 of us. We can take some backpacks and have some supplies.
Yeah.
So all of you out there that are running Philly, send us a DM and let us know what you want.
Yeah, just slide into
Speaking of
Diana's
that.
DMs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I forgot that I'm supposed to say something about what I'm running for.
Yeah, what are you running for?
I didn't pick something because I'm not running. So I
were
never remember
Pelotoning.
to put something in. I'm running to start running again.
Whoop whoop.
There you go.
There you
Slow
go.
and steady.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments once we get to our feels part of this episode.
Mhm.
But yes, I plan to go for my first run in 15 weeks. A couple days after this episode comes out. So I have not started running if you're listening on Monday, but by the end of this week, I will have done my first run.
Have you been doing walking at all? Or should we save
A
this?
little.
Should we save this?
Yeah, we can save it.
Okay, let's
We
save it.
can
Let's
save
save it.
it.
Let's save it.
Okay. All right, we're going to be foregoing goal getters. So quickly, I want to give a special goal getters to Susanna.
Oh.
Yes.
Because she went out to Javelina 100, which we were supposed to go do. And she went out and grinded out 80 miles out there.
That's insane. I am so
And-
stinking proud of her.
It's so weird because as soon as you said her name, she texted Diana and I.
That's funny. And
she knows.
and she amazingly went through the finish line as Dakota Jones, the winner of the race, was finishing.
Yeah, her live ID
And-
actually has him flying by her. And then in his finish video, you see her and he
Adorable.
flies by her.
I
It's
love
so
Yeah,
funny.
it's amazing. Yeah. He's like running 7-minute miles at the end of a 100-mile race.
can't.
Like
Yeah.
some insanity and like
Yeah. Yeah, but and she'll tell you, she said it in her stories, and I chatted with her a little bit afterwards. She'll tell you she didn't quit because she wanted to. They just wouldn't let her go out on that fifth loop, but she could have done it. She just couldn't do it in the time limit that they put in front of her.
Yeah.
So she
Amazing.
wanted to go back out.
super jealous.
Yeah.
I was,
Hey,
I was really missing it
congratulations.
when I was watching, but
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, I'm
It's amazing.
so proud of her. That's unbelievable. And she went out there basically by herself, right?
Yeah.
100% by herself.
Oh my God.
Mitch wasn't able to make it either. And then obviously we did not go out. So, I mean, honestly, truly, the bravery it takes to, one, toe the line of 100-miler, and then two, to travel to something like that and do that kind of distance with no
Support
no crew
or anything.
I mean, it's just incredible.
You have a lot of faith in your ability, and she should,
Mhm.
and that's awesome. Like, that's incredible.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, she's a beast.
She's a beast.
I think she's probably mentally tougher than most people I know combined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could keep grinding. I had no doubt that she was going to do well.
Oh, and so do we want to do quick race recap training things real quick?
Yeah, I thought that's what we were going to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
We were
sounds
just going to
good.
talk about what you
Sure.
guys did the last.
Sure. We all ran in the Baltimore area.
Yeah.
Yep.
By we all, you mean the three of you.
The three of us. So I ran the Patapsco 50K, which I had done one other time, but it wasn't on the actual trails. It was on the BWI loop. Really, really great race. It was their biggest turnout, I think they said.
Yep.
Had a great time. It's real runnable, fun course. No, the trails were great. The area they had to set us up at the college was great. Just 2 loops, just because it's 25K, 50K. I was happy with my day. I wish I'd gone under 8 hours, but I had nearly tripped at the end of the first loop and smashed, you may have heard some toe talk earlier. So I slammed into a rock with my big toe and started to stumble, where you start that trip, but you catch yourself. And I kind of landed really hard on my left leg and like kind of tweaked my back. So when I came in at the halfway point, I was not in great shape. My back was pretty tight.
And he was grumpy.
Yeah, I was grumpy. But went back out, finished. I could barely walk uphill the second half, but wasn't that bad.
You
It
could
was, you know,
walk into our place, like when you came to shower.
Oh, that was funny.
I was like, what
My hip was so it wasn't like during the race I just had no strength. It wasn't super painful, but then I ended up finishing. But then we took the 20-minute drive to your place, and by the time I got out of the car, I could barely step up the curb. And then we go to dinner.
Oh yeah, they sat
with
us upstairs.
Melanie and Jeremy, and they're like, "Oh, it's upstairs." I'm like, "Dear God, like, are you kidding me?"
I didn't. That was me.
And then not only that, but we got up we got there, and then they're like, "We're upstairs." There were so many stairs. It wasn't like just a one flight of stairs situation. It was like you went up a little to a little landing, and then you turned, and then you kept going up these stairs that just went on forever.
I honestly didn't even think about it. They were like, "Is upstairs okay?" And I was like, "Sure." And then we get like halfway up the stairs, and Tom looks at me, and he's like, "Michael's gonna love this." I didn't even think about it.
Oh God, it was a great race. So they put on a great race. I will say the Patapsco crew, really good time, great trails, super fun. My hip healed up nicely after a day or two. It wasn't really an injury. It was more just like
it was like the shock of like
I probably just aggravated a muscle or something.
Mhm.
It swelled up or something like that.
Yeah, and then when you sit, it everything tightens.
So a couple
into
days later, it was fine. My toe is still not fine because the toenail's coming off. But other than that, so that was my race. It was fun.
But it was fun because it was in Baltimore or in the Baltimore area, so we got to hang out with you guys for dinner. So we got to see you guys, and then Melanie and Jeremy were both supposed to run. Unfortunately, they had some personal life circumstances that prevented them from being able to be there, but they were able to come to dinner with us.
That was
so
awesome.
we were super excited to see them. And we're gonna have to plan something. They're not too far from you guys. I mean, they're a little. It's a weird triangle that we live in. With us being like 2 hours from each of you.
It's weird, but in different directions. Yeah,
from them.
Yeah.
But so we'll have to try and find some place to maybe meet up with them again.
Yeah.
Down that
Melanie was telling us about like a really pretty trail.
It's the rail trail that she helps maintain.
Yeah.
So we were like, we should.
And that's not that far from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you start doing
they're
these
about
miles.
an hour, right? So yeah. She's on some board or something committee
for the.
I'm not sure
trail,
for a rail trail. So she's super into the maintenance of that. So she wants you to come run it.
Out in York, PA.
Absolutely. So it was good seeing them, and then it was the Saturday before Halloween, so all the girlies were out.
Yes.
They were ready to party.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. Well, you guys met us after you guys did your own little event, right?
Yeah. So we do, and we've talked about it on the pod before, but I think this is the first time it's been back since COVID. We did Barktoberfest, which is a 5K, and it's dog friendly, and I think almost every bit of it goes towards Barks. They're an animal shelter in Baltimore. And dogs run. They do a 5K. They do a 1 mile walk. You can do either with dogs. And then afterwards, they have a little beer garden and a dog costume contest and food trucks. And it's just a fun little event. So we did that. We brought Archie and we brought my niece and my nephew.
Yeah, I thought about coming up. It wasn't too far from where we were.
Yeah.
I thought about driving there, and then I realized it was like literally in like the middle of Baltimore.
It's in the city,
it's like over by out by Canton. Is that the area? Yeah. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know, getting over there, parking, and then getting back here, make sure that I'm here for when he finishes and all that. I was just like, I'm not sure if that's gonna.
We could have used you. We were outnumbered.
We were outnumbered by
like with the dog, it was too much. It was slightly
because you
too
had your
much.
niece and nephew, right?
Yes.
You had two littles with you.
It was better when it was just my nephew and the dog, because it was like a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yep.
With the 3-to-1, it was not good, or the 3-to-2.
I'll say I might have been a little bit more stressed than necessary.
I don't know if you know this about Tom,
No way.
but he gets all just stress.
Oh my
And then
God.
he gets like a weird vibe and then transfers that to Archie. So then they both have a weird vibe.
Oh yeah, because animals more so, I think, than even humans can pick up on the like those vibes.
I will say, I parallel parked better than most people are
it was
able
really
to
good.
parallel park
It was really good.
that day.
It was really good.
Like,
And then he's
really
like,
good.
and everyone stay on the sidewalk. It was
Everybody get on the sidewalk.
Oh my God.
oh god.
Safety doesn't just happen, Aaron.
And then Georgia, like she was running and she fell, and I think it startled her, and
Aw.
then she started crying, and then we were taking that picture of John by the 3 sign. I said, well, do you want to run over and like take a picture with John? And then while she was like walking over to take a photo with she fell again. So I've got a
Aw.
funny photo where she's like crying and I'm holding her.
So stressful.
And yeah, Tom's getting all like worked up, and I was like, I don't know, it's fine. It's fine. But we love that event. We've done it, I don't know, we've done it since like 2015, I think.
Yeah, it's been a
When
while.
they've had it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we love it. We do it every year. And yeah, other than that, we haven't really signed up for anything. We've just been getting our training miles in. So, like I said, we did 14 together on Sunday. And then this was a 7 and 6 week during the weekdays, and just keep building it up.
Yep.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, I'm
How you feeling overall?
yeah, for me, I'm actually feeling good. I'm just trusting the training, and I literally am not looking too far ahead. So even when
That's the best way to do it.
when we were talking on Sunday night, I was like, oh wait, I have to look and see how much we're running this week, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of going kind of day by day. I feel pretty good. My legs are tired. Like they're heavy and they're tired.
Yeah,
and
fatigued.
just fatigued.
But that's what they're supposed to feel like.
So I think that's normal. I'm trusting the plan because I did not trust it last time. I'm sticking to the plan. I'm icing. I'm doing, the Epsom salt bath. So I'm trying to recover. I've got to get slightly better at stretching. So that'll be my goal for this week is to get better at stretching. And I am noticing the brace is helping, and it's helping a lot because I'm not getting that pain anymore. And we went and walked at the track last night, and we were walking kind of fast, not like super fast, but I didn't wear my brace because I knew we were just walking, and it started to hurt like halfway through what we were doing. And I was like, I got to wear it while I'm walking now.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting that, like what I thought
Keep
was a
it
shin
supported.
pain, but
Yeah.
And then,
well, I sent Diana a knee brace that last episode we were talking about your ACL, and Nicole, who I wasn't 100% sure listened to this podcast, sent me a picture of the one that she's using. That's more like it's not like a full sleeve type one. It's very open and just has like a hinge. And we looked at it, and all of us were like, what is that, and why does it look like a torture device?
Yeah. But I was looking at it, so I actually was thinking about trying one that was like that. They're just expensive. So I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm going to wait. If I'm going to do it, I need to do it now so I can get used to it.
I was going to say, but is it worth it?
Yeah, is it worth
spend,
it?
I mean, like with the expense of something like that, to make sure that your ACL or your lack thereof stays secure.
I also don't even know what to do with this thing. Like, I guess I'm going to like Febreze it. It's going to start to get gross. I think I'm going to have to buy like 2 of these.
The other one looks like it's very open and airy and breathy, and it's like just got the hinge.
And it's not just going to hold my sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it might be worth it just for that alone.
Yeah. So thank you for sending that. I appreciate it. And then
Tom, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
I tell you what the vibe in this house is. It's not good. It's not pleasant here.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I'm irritable.
You're getting the miles in.
Yeah. Like,
Are you hitting your miles?
yes, but like,
Okay.
don't do that. That's not nice.
But for those who are not visually able to see, Diana was giving a so hand gesture.
Like, for the most part,
Okay.
it's not like definitive, but like,
You're struggling a little bit on weekdays.
yeah.
Those are the hardest.
It's hard.
days.
It's hard to get those. I mean, even like your first dopey, you said that yourself.
Yep.
Like, and he doesn't have the hard lesson yet of how miserable he was at his first dopey. So,
And I'm in a more privileged position now because I'm remote. So I'm starting a lot later.
yeah.
Like when I was doing dopey last time, when I would have to run those miles, I would have to get up 4 or 4:30, and I don't have to do
Gotcha.
that because it's not a big deal for me to get home at 8 or 8:30, jump in the shower, and I can be logged on by 9, which is later
Yeah.
than
There
I
you go.
normally would start, but it's like not a big deal.
There
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
some cheating times. Let me explain to you what that means. Like today I walked the dog in the morning, and then I came home and we had 7 on the training plan, and I just went and did 7 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I got him today.
Yep.
And
Okay.
the run was 100% dedicated to the training. Other
Okay.
days, like if it's 6 on the training schedule, I'll walk the dog 2 miles in the morning, and then I'll go do 4 miles afterwards, after work. So cumulative, I've got 6 on the day, but it's not in the same
Which
block.
is like time on your feet.
It is time on your feet, but like it's a little bit of cheating, right? Because I'm applying the dog walks.
I don't know.
which are miles.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I completely agree with that, because I know that and there are some run coaches who will tell you that like splitting a run morning, especially when you got like weird work schedules, doing like if you got a 20 miler and the only way you can get it in is to do 10 in the morning and 10 in the evening, it's still better than not having done the 20 miles.
Yes, I agree with that.
I'm trying to get away from doing that though. Like whatever miles I do,
Yeah.
dog walking or whatever, I'm really, really trying to not have that count towards the actual miles. I want the actual miles to stand on their own.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to also be careful with that, because I mean that extra time on the feet can also mean that you need extra recovery time too. So you do have to take some of that into account.
Mm-hmm. And
don't discount it completely.
No, and I 100% agree with that. And the only other thing I will say is he does that 2-mile dog walk with every single morning with Archie.
Okay.
So like that's part of his everyday routine. So I don't even think. Is it weird to say like your body doesn't notice? Like it's like almost like muscle memory to go out and get like that 2 miles. Like I walk the dog usually a mile every day at lunch, sometimes like 1.25 miles if I go, a certain way home. But I don't really count that with like whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not walking him as much as Tom walks him, because sometimes Tom will walk him 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
And I'm going to adjust it. Like we're going to get to these like 10 miles during the week on like a Thursday. I'm not going to walk him 4 miles that day and then also do another like the 10, right?
Mm-mm.
Like I'm going to really be focused on getting my training miles in. He'll get his walks, but he might not get 4 or 5 miles like he sometimes does.
Poor Archie. He's going to get neglected.
Oh no, he's got a great summer body. He's fine.
That summer bod.
Michael, do you have any training updates? I mean, what's your next?
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Taking the week off. We got Frosty Looper December 17th, 18th. It got moved, sorry. December 18th. That's my next race. So I gotta start running again. It's so weird because I went into the 50K and I was thinking about it that morning, and I'm like, I don't know. I take these things like they're 5Ks at this point, and I don't know that that's the right thing to do.
No, it's not at all.
I'm like, it's just 8 hours, like it's just like whatever,
It's
32
just
miles
8
or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know. I'll just walk. Like if it happens, I'll just walk for a while. It's like, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know.
It is like, okay. I mean, I used to be able to run distance too, but I don't think I've ever ever, even like when I was doing longer distances, been just like, oh, I'm just going to go out for a 20 miler the way that he has.
I don't know.
Wish I could
It's
do
weird.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird at this point. But I am looking forward to Frosty Looper. I'm hoping the weather is decent. And I may like shoot for a goal that day. And then that'll kind of be like my last race before Dopey, you know. Right now, I don't know what I'm doing at Dopey. I originally had some time goals for Dopey. I don't know if I'm really going to do that, though.
Well, you haven't really trained for speed at all.
Yeah, I've kind of like eased back. Oh, I do. I set a training goal of I want to get to 100,000 feet of climbing by the end of the year.
That's
So
where I was
I
waiting
forgot
for
about
that goal.
Yeah.
Oh God.
How close?
I don't have much to go.
I was going to say, how
He
close
doesn't
are
have
you?
much. Okay.
I will let you know
Let's
how much.
qualify.
Hold on.
I don't
I
have,
have a
much
good
to go.
relative for us. I do.
He has 1.5 or 2, just about 2 months left to be able to do it, and he has to do like
Let's see where I'm
more
at.
than a third of what he's already done.
I just have 35,000 feet to go.
Yeah, like he's like, I've spent 10 months doing 60 whatever, and now I still have 35 to go in 2 months. Like, and he's like, no big deal.
It's a good goal.
And this is why everyone's injured. No one has toenails. It's just
Well, because we're coming up on stupid freaking end of daylight savings time that we're still doing this year because everybody's a moron.
Yep.
So it's going to be dark in 5 minutes. So I'm just probably going to do the treadmill.
It hasn't even happened
I'm
yet,
so
and
angry.
he's so angry. Like literally the other day we were out for a walk and he was just angry already. And I'm like, it's not even dark out yet.
Look,
he's like, but it's coming.
Everybody who loves fall is wrong.
Yes.
It's miserable.
And it's
All it is-
rainy and cold.
Yeah, it's colorful for a week and then it's freaking gray and dark.
It was colorful for more than a week.
All
this
right,
year.
it was colorful for 2 weeks. And it's also been really warm this year.
It's been really nice.
But
out.
regardless, it's dark.
It's supposed to be 75.
Irregardless,
degrees this
it's
weekend.
dark.
It's dark.
It's dark.
I don't
It's
care.
so dark.
It's dark.
It's so dark. I hate it.
Dark like his feelings right now.
Yeah.
We're starting to get into feelings right now. This is
So,
where it begins.
I plan on doing a lot of treadmill climbing.
Yeah.
So
So,
he's just gonna hit the treadmill and
because
climb.
Frosty Looper is not getting me any elevation.
No.
It's pretty dead flat. If I'm lucky, I'll get like 200 feet of elevation in like 40 miles.
Yep.
So.
All right.
But yeah, Tom, the feelings coming out of you, Tom has about Dopey in this training process, they just sound different when it's coming out of him. Like the tone and the exasperation you're feeling with daylight savings. That's Tom right now with Dopey training.
Well, I get it because it's the first big of, your first really long event,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just stupid and like, I don't know, walk, like, don't run for 2 weeks and then go do the 50K. Like it's.
Yeah, but the thing is, and this is not a knock on you by any means, you have a level of fitness and confidence in that fitness that, like, if you wanted to do a full marathon this weekend, you could do it.
I mean, he could do it and get through it, but like the thing is, I'm not. This is again not a knock on him. Back when we were in 2019, when we were doing higher mileages regularly in 2020, we were consistently running through the weeks higher mileage.
Yeah.
So he was doing it feeling good. Now he does it and he kind of grinds through it. So he's not putting in the work in the in-between. He's doing the Matt Allgaier method of running race to race to race and not having much time to do anything in between because he's signed up for all these things and he's in constant taper. So he doesn't have enough time to like rebuild anything. And he's just going to
You know who was also doing that? Ryan. You know what he has? Shin splints. Almost a stress fracture. Not quite. He got like whatever
that's like.
The MRI thing. It's because he was like, I'm at a good fitness level. I can just go out and do a half marathon. So he wouldn't train and he'd do a half marathon. And then he would just kind of hang out and then he'd do a half marathon.
Well, to be fair, I did a lot of training in the summer.
Yeah.
And then I had labor pains. We had rocking the knob. Then we had this. So they all kind of fell like 3 to 4 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't do a lot in between them. So that, to be fair to me, like I did a lot of miles in
I'm
the
not
summer.
saying that. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
But we were also at that time, if we were in 2019, we were going race to race to race weekends. And I figured this out because I was talking about my race season that year, and I wasn't trying to rehash things about like how I used to be, but like it was just one of those things where I ran because the 50K for MCM was this past weekend, and I was like, oh, I ran that right after I ran the 55, and then like a few weeks later, I ran a PR marathon after running a sub-2 half marathon the week before.
Yeah.
And I was just running like race to race to race to race, but we were also consistently running during the week,
Yeah.
which I think was also helping continue
helps.
our base constantly.
Yep.
We also didn't have anything else to do. So we were doing that.
Oh.
We just have a lot more to do now.
Yeah.
In 2019, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
All right.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just real quick, before we get into some of our feedback so that we can start talking more specifically about your feelings. Part of the reason why this all came up was because I've been pretty candid about sort of how my mental health has been affected by this injury, both here and on my social media, probably a little bit more on my social media than even here. And somebody mentioned it would be a really good topic for us for the podcast because a lot of people have feelings, and we learned really quickly by the feedback people have feelings. I am still not running. By technicality, I was given permission to start running 2 weeks ago, but I am living in this constant state of anxiety and fear at the moment, which is really sort of difficult. I need to push myself out the door, and I do have a few friends who have offered to even run virtually with me so that like I am held accountable to the day that I say I'm going to go run, I'm going to go run.
Yep.
I think that I'm like constantly questioning the timeline of when it happened and if I should be running yet. And I know I was told 12 weeks, but it's almost been 15 at this point. Like, I just have this constant fear that it's just going to like I'm going to go out, it's going to hurt, and I'm going to re-injure myself immediately because I've spent an entire year feeling like I've been injured in some capacity, or not running at full capacity.
Yeah, I feel like it has been almost all year, and it almost was like kind of the end of last year. I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I mean, because I ran the marathon last year with Maria and Anna and Susanna, and I was having hip problems at that point. I was just not willing to admit them because I was trying to get through that race to that race. And so after that is when I went to the PT and the doctor for that and had that MRI to make sure it wasn't a stress fracture there.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with a stress fracture. And so it's just been a constant like battle of this feeling of like, I'm coming back. But I'm always coming back because there's something on my calendar and I'm like, I have to get to that. And I think that finally in the last few weeks, I have made the decision that I am not going to start the marathon at Dopey.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I think that having said that has taken this giant weight that's just sort of been crushing me down of feeling like I have to get back. And I know people are trying to be supportive and say those things like, oh, you're so strong. You've done this before. You can totally get there. You know, you might just have to walk a lot. You've grinded through your way through other races, blah, blah, blah. And I know people are trying really hard to be supportive. But if anything, it kind of was giving the opposite effect and making me feel really anxious because I felt like if I didn't do it, I was going to let all these people down. And that was really just starting to like sit so heavy on me that I felt paralyzed.
Yeah.
So I have let that go. I am saying it here. I am not starting the marathon.
I think that's a brave decision.
Cheering for you all. I'm really sad, but it's the right decision for me.
Well, that's Look, that's maturity. Like
I just want this. If I'm going to come back again, everyone keeps talking about this idea of a comeback, including me. But like, I keep doing it on the terms of I have to do this because I'm supposed to, because I have this thing on my calendar that I put there 7 months ago. And I can't do that anymore because I keep doing that. And that's how I keep falling back down. So I need to start from the beginning, and I need to like do this on my own terms. I need to do like 3 to 5 miles until I feel really good about doing those 3 to 5 miles and not even think about doing other distances, which is why I said that I'm not even 100% sure that I am starting the half marathon. I'm not taking it off the table completely, but I'm not 100% sure I'm starting it.
No, and I think saying that and being comfortable with that is the smartest decision that you can make, and it's a tough decision, but I think you're right. And I think even and I know you said you had this weight of letting people down. I think by you doing this is giving people, not that, I mean, I always have you on a pedestal because I love you so much, but like I think by you doing this, you're also kind of giving permission to other people that might be in the same boat that we're struggling with a decision. Like, I think it's setting a good example for people. And I don't know, I'm really proud of you for doing this. And yeah.
I mean, honestly, when you say that, that's true, because it's a conversation I've had with multiple people who have been training for Dopey, and I'm not going to call anyone specific out who's made decisions, but a few people I know who have made the decision, and one specific person made the decision she wasn't doing it. And when we talked about it, I was like, you are so right. And and I've told her this, like, she almost inspired me to finally be like, no, this is enough. I need to stop.
Yeah.
For myself too. So I do agree, like being able to talk about it and being able to like see other people say, no, like I don't have to do this, can help other people. So,
and it's so hard for runners because all we do is encourage each other. All we do is say, one more, you can do it. The grind, and even that's how you feel like you actually really injured yourself, because it was like, one more lap. I'll just do it in my UFOs. Like, this is fine. Yep. Rather than someone just saying, like, sit your ass down. We need to be done.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And you need Tom with you.
I appreciate all of the love and the support and all the people who want to be encouraging and say those things. And I know I do it too. I do it to other people as well. Like, you've got this, you know, that's in our nature. But I think we need to take 5 seconds to take a step back when someone's talking to us and say, wait, is this right for this person? And I want to just tell you that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to say no.
And it's okay to say no, even if it's a mental thing, honestly. Like, everyone says, well, if it's mental, just push through. I mean, it's just as important to say no, that if this is taking too much a toll on you mentally, to just say, and that's enough. And I think that's fine.
One of the people that I talked to this past weekend who finally said she's done, that was it for her. And when we were talking about it, I said, where are you mentally? If you don't want to be miserable, if you think you're just going to be miserable and you're just going through the miles for no reason, then why are you doing it? And I think that is a good point. It doesn't have to just be physical. If you are not in a mental space to be able to take on a challenge like that, it's not a good place to be.
Yep.
When I think it's good to get back to a place where you enjoy running for just the simple physicality of it, or the release that it gives you when you're just out by yourself, not hopping from event to event, making sure that you have to show up to an event, like, you should focus on yourself and getting back into being in the shape that you're comfortable in and enjoy running, right? Just running's very personal. Running's a very solo thing, although we do it in giant groups, and like the community is amazing, but like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to find that joy in it again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think part of the struggle that I run into is that I started, and this is why I think it's funny the amount of feedback and it's like some of the long feedback we receive because, and someone said it in at a message to I think our group, or I'm not sure, where they said that the reason why we run is because we're emotional, right? Like a lot of it is mental health. Like we're out there because we're trying to clear our hot heads or release some stress or get some endorphins to get that mental health feeling of like letting things go. And so it's twofold. Like one, now I can't do it, so I'm not getting that like release, and so that's difficult. But then when I was going out for a run, I was miserable because I was constantly injured. So it was like this weird dichotomy of this thing that I loved doing or thought I loved doing, but I wasn't loving it anymore. But I also wanted to do it for my mental health. And it like none of it made sense to me anymore. And running just hasn't made sense to me for a while. And I need to get back to where it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And I mean, you were having a hard time as well. I was feeling even kind of like last year, you were starting to feel like a little bit more discouraged. And I know things like a DNF, they're more common in these long distance and these trail races. But I remember you even saying to me, like, I feel like I haven't just finished anything in a long time. And I've got these goals and it's just so much pressure I'm putting on myself.
Yeah. I was the definition of true burnout is what I would say. And I think that this time off this forced time off has been actually in its own way really good for me, even though I haven't been in the greatest mental space during it. Now that I'm coming out of it and kind of in a more empowered mode of feeling like this isn't, I'm not going to come back because the doctor told me I can. I'm not going to come back because I have something on my schedule. I'm going to come back for me.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that's the best decision that you make. And it should be totally on your terms. And if you want it to just be a celebration and it's the biggest event ever that you're coming back for, if you just say, I'm going to go out, I'm going to run whatever this is. It could be a race, it could not be, it could be whatever you want it to be. And I want to do it solo and I want to, listen to, Kelly Clarkson the entire time and make it your own. However you want that to look. There's no right or wrong answer. Because I'm sure, like, as soon as you start talking about, like, all right, I'm coming back, people are going to be on you. But, like, well, what is it? I got to be there with you. And it needs to be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, and I would like the support. Like I said, a couple friends offered, to help hold me accountable because there is a little bit of anxiety and fear about it too. So there is like a little bit of like I might need some camaraderie. So I do think I am going to do a celebration first run when I come back and have some people, virtually run it. I'll let you know when it is. I'm not letting the podcast world. I'm sorry, people.
No.
In case you guys want to join me, but yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I am in a better place, despite the fact that I just cried a bunch. I am actually in a bit of a better mental space than I've been for a while because like I said, taking that off of my calendar just has made me feel like I can go to marathon weekend and enjoy marathon weekend for what marathon weekend's going to be without this immense pressure of, am I going to do these races or not?
No. And honestly, it's not great. Like, I'm feeling like, honestly, and I do feel, because when you're feeling good, you do feel kind of guilty if somebody's injured. And I feel like I've been feeling great this whole time. Like I'm getting faster. I'm having like all this success, but it still sucks. Like, I don't want to be out there. Like, everything hurts. Like, as for me, even feeling good and being in like probably one of the best headspaces I've ever been in while I've been running. Like, my legs hurt today and I'm tired and I don't want to do it. And I didn't want to do 7 this morning. And it feels, you feel shitty for like wanting to complain about that when other people can't run. And then I can't even imagine what you, and I know so many of us are injured right now. This is like prime training time. Like everyone is training for something. So it's that FOMO aspect as well, where it's just everyone feels like they're out doing something. When I couldn't run, I did it over the summer. No one is running. Like I tore my ACL in May. So it was going into like the hottest parts of the year. I was wedding planning, so I was totally distracted. And then after the wedding in September, I was like, oh, I can finally start doing stuff again. And it was right when people were like starting to train for things or kind of in the thick of training. So I was lucky enough where I didn't feel like I was missing out on too much. There were a couple races and things I didn't, I couldn't do, or I sat and I waited and I cheered at like Warrior Dash and Charles Street and stuff like that. But it wasn't this immense feeling where it felt like everyone around me is doing something. So like
you weren't missing out.
Yeah, my heart just, it breaks, it goes out. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, so we've got tons of feedback on this whole We've Got Feelings thing we put out there that we were looking to kind of have this conversation because, like I said, it was something that came up a lot in my life recently, and it was suggested. So we put out there, we wanted to know, how you guys have sort of dealt with your emotions of when it comes to running, whether it's tough training runs, not hitting your goals, DNSing, DNFing, being injured, watching other people accomplish goals while you're sidelined. Like all of these things cause all kinds of emotions. And I don't know, I just felt like people were talking about how lonely it can feel. And I felt like it was really important to show people that they're not alone. And because I know that's how I've felt in the last few months.
Yep.
So I really I wanted us to talk about feelings.
All the feelings.
We've got so much feedback from you guys. And we're going to start, we're going to do our usual order. Diana's going to start with Tori, who I just loved this feedback. So I added it, even though it wasn't quite as much of her feels.
Also, in true Diana fashion, I did no actual work for this episode. Partly on purpose this time because I kind of wanted to have real reactions to everyone, but I don't know if that's going to be a good thing for me or not with my feelings. Considering yesterday I cried, I think 5 times before noon because I was watching clips of Fantasmic and then listening to the Encanto soundtrack. So it's just been
well, here we go.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Get ready to feel some more stuff.
And just to preface that a little bit more, like some of the stuff that we're going to share are very personal to people. We take this very seriously. We really appreciate the candidness and the kind of the vulnerability that people are showing. So just know that we really appreciate anybody that shared any kind of feedback here.
Yeah, we love you guys. All right, jumping into Tori. I love the prompt for how to handle emotions of running. It feels like it'll have similar vibes to the Finish Line episodes. That episode last year was actually how I was able to get through training for Goofy last year. It completely reframed how I focus on training. To this day, whenever I'm on a run and having an awful time, I remember how everyone described their favorite moments, favorite/meaningful finish lines. And I get secondhand happy, and it reminds me that even when I'm running alone, I'm not really alone because I get to be part of a really cool community that means a lot to so many people, which is probably super duper nerdy. I love her. But it's what I needed at the time. It's also the first one I sent my friends when I recommend the podcast.
Aw.
And then she also says, and Tom was 100% correct in pronouncing my name. It's like tortoise or victorious. I'm super excited to see y'all in Philly. Help me cheer on my friend as she finishes her first half marathon if you see us. We definitely
awesome.
will be there.
Will do.
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Can't
so
wait.
glad that helped.
Yeah, you'll have to message us the morning of so we can try and find you. We have Laura Duxon, who says, I remember my worst injury. I kept racing because that's what I did. Don't we all? 5 miles during 36K training shouldn't be a problem, right? Both not a good idea. I felt defeated having to walk because of pain. Was before I did run, walk, run. I did those races because it makes me happy, but did it really? Being in pain sucked. I already let go of time goals. My last race was so bad, I cried after the finish line because I was so disappointed. A hilly 10K, sure, great idea. 2 months later, I was on the operation table. Yeah, and then the healing part began, or so I thought. I had a doctor in training. He gave me the green light to run again way too soon. Enthusiastically, I began a couch to 5K. But I didn't even run 5 seconds, couldn't even run 5 seconds without pain. Oof. So I went to an experienced orthopedic. No running plus anti-inflammatories. Again, tears. I had to stop again. But waiting for my body to heal was the best decision. No more 2 steps ahead, 3 steps back. It was one small step at a time. 5 seconds run, 55 seconds walk. It felt ridiculous. I ran halves without stopping, but it was a start. 5 seconds became 10, became 20, and then a whole minute. I began to see it as small victories. A run without pain was a success. A minute became a mile, became a 5K, and became dopey. I trained from zero after knee surgery to dopey in 9 months. The the injury road sucks. The healing process takes a lot of patience and not wanting to start too quickly. And you'll probably make a dozen bad choices before you make the right one. I did. It might take a bloody long time, but don't give up. You're totally allowed to feel all the feelings. It gets better. Hold on. You got this.
Sounds like you.
I know. I relate to it a little too much.
Yeah. Adventure to Paradise Falls, Stephanie. So glad you're talking about this. I just got sidelined with a Morton's neuroma, and it sucks.
Oof.
It's such a struggle when there's an injury setback, and I know I also struggle to get going again when it's all clear. I hate losing progress, and it always feels like I'm starting over again.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll do the next one too since it's short. Megan, I always try and find something positive about every training, runner, race, and she's also just came back from injury recently.
That's I guess what because we asked for, how do you get through, and that's always a positive way to get through is to look at something positive in every training run. I'm not sure we're all very good at that, but
but she is. I feel like she's one of the most positive people I know.
Yeah.
She's just sunshine.
All right, our friend Kate. Kate says, I've neglected my running and health in general for the last 5 years. It's easy to blame being a mom, but it simply comes down to not making the time. I went from running a 9:45 to 10, 15-minute miles on my long runs to about a 13-minute mile now. I hate being slow. I hate being slower while pregnant again. I just wish I could relive my good running years instead of actually putting in the work to get back to where I was. I don't know how I'm going to break through the barrier once baby arrives, but I'm going to figure it out if it's the last thing I do. I miss that version of me.
That's hard. That's the same kind of thing where I always say, like, it's so hard to let go of like that version that you see of yourself. And I still don't know how to let that go. I know it's something that gets talked about a lot here as well.
Yeah. It's that progress versus perfection.
Yeah.
Okay. And then our friend Run Disnerd sliding into Tom's DMs.
We're now friends on the social medias.
Ooh.
Oh, I see.
Oh, God. Sometimes I think the mental toughness and personal/social sacrifice that comes with training can be harder than the actual miles. That's 100% true. Having to say no, I can't go to X event because I have a long run in the morning over and over starts to take a toll on me. I'd love to go out and see friends, but I'd also know skipping a workout can make things miserable on race day. Loving running and races is a true double-edged sword. The accomplishments are amazing, but sacrifices can be soul-crushing at times. It's so interesting he
Wow.
said this, and this just proves that they're actual soulmates, because this is the thing that Tom was upset about over the weekend, and he was talking about that he just misses going out, especially at this time of year. He feels like he's missing out on
Oh, yeah.
things. He's like listing events and, can we do
Because
it?
he's
And
gotta
if we
get up, yeah.
went to that event, it would either make the run miserable or the event not fun because we were thinking about the run. So is it even worth doing?
Yeah.
I mean, Dopey, I knew what I was signing up for, right? Like, it is a full commitment of just most of your downtime if you're going
Yeah.
to bounce back and be able to continue to show up for the miles. Like, yeah, it's tough. I feel you. I feel you, Run Diz Nerd.
And I think the thing about that is that if you're also feeling like crap on your runs and you're not having a good time training and you have to say no to a bunch of things, you feel like you
Yeah.
don't have anything. And that's
And
where
it's like,
I
what
get
is this
sometimes.
worth? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is
Like,
this worth?
because I'm like, oh my God, like all I want to do is like go hang out at a brewery. And I can't do that right now. I can, but
Yeah.
it may not be the best thing.
All right, we got Shailene Goes the Distance. I love that you are talking about this. It is so hard to be sidelined and wanting to cheer for all your friends, but feeling like you're missing out. I'm coming back from a foot injury that has had me out for 7 weeks in the middle of training for my first marathon and first dopey. Now that I can start running again, I'm so full of gratitude for every step without pain. I can also now see some of the gains I made through strength training, cycling that I wouldn't have done otherwise.
Awesome.
I will probably be more well-rounded runner athlete in the future because of the downtime. But I couldn't see the positive side while I was still injured. The really hard part is when you're unable to run is not knowing when or in what condition you will return. It just feels hopeless while you're in it. Like every day, your goal just gets further away and harder to reach. I tried coping by doing a lot of cross training and focusing on other goals, but I still had some really bad days and weeks and struggled more than I thought I would. Reach out to your injured run friends often. It means so much, and they need to know that you're still here to cheer them on. And when you're injured, try to focus on what you can do more than what you focus. Try to focus on what you can do more than you focus on what you can't. And I just almost started getting really emotional about that because I get to read all of the ones that I just see myself in.
It
Yeah.
sounded exactly like you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You're not alone.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and
that's why I struggled at the end of that because I was like, "Oh man, this is just me again."
And it is interesting that sometimes an injury it does sometimes feel like it sets you back and that it puts you in a bad spot, but you do come out different. So when I started doing the elliptical and things like that when I was injured, I came out of that a different runner because I was working on muscles and things that I hadn't normally worked at. And even right before we started recording, Aaron stretched and Tom was like, "Do you have a bicep now?" And I was like, "That's all over yoga." Like,
Yeah, I
got a
am
little
curious
muscle.
how it'll be returning, having Pelotoned hundreds of miles since I got my Peloton.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, obviously, the other things I relate to in that, have more to do with like the just, check on your injured run friends. We're not okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to watch your friends. It's bittersweet because you want your friends to accomplish things.
Yep.
You want, to see your friends hitting their race distances or their furthest distances ever run. And I can't wait to see Tom hit his longest distance ever. Because that's coming real quick.
Mhm.
And I can't wait to cheer him on. But like, it's also bittersweet because, you know, it's hard being sidelined.
We have Greg next. Would love to hear talk about the feeling of training hard, racing hard, and either meeting or missing your goals. It can be a strange dichotomy to be in the finish line celebrations and dealing with personal disappointment. Yeah, there's that. And then there's also that immediate snapback after you accomplish your goal. Like,
Yeah, there's
then
like almost
what?
that like depressing, like blue, like the post marathon blues.
Yeah.
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 Or whatever the race may be.
I'd almost think it'd be worth doing an entire episode on that. And that would honestly be more. Honestly, I think Aaron and Michael, I think you guys have more experience with that because a lot of times I don't set time or pace goals for myself when I run. Usually it's I want to finish, and I either want to finish, I don't usually even have a time. I say, I want to race this or I want to have fun. And that's how I approach every race. But I very rarely say, I'm going to go in and I'm trying for this time.
I think it's been a while since I've done it. I mean, he has more so than me because
Yeah.
he went for a couple sub 4s. I think that the closest I ever came was I wanted to do a sub 2, see whether I could do a sub 2 during a race, but it wasn't like a like I have to do it. And I hit like 2 hours and 34 seconds. So I missed it by 34 seconds, but I could not push myself to those 34 seconds.
Mhm.
So like that feeling afterwards of like, well, like what could I have done differently at the beginning of the race so I could have gotten to those 34 seconds?
Yeah.
I get that.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
you get that whole like, yeah.
Yep.
So that is an interesting conversation.
All right, our friend Jeremy. My biggest struggle is always motivation. I get frustrated and irritated with myself because I know that running is good for my mental and emotional well-being. 90% of the time that I run alone. I love the time to reflect, but it gets old.
Mm-hmm.
I also have long days teaching, rehearsals, performances, and events, so it makes it hard to want to run.
Yep.
Get up early, you say? I already get up at 5 a.m., so running with the snakes, coyotes, and other critters in the dark isn't my thing.
Oh, God.
So what have I learned from this? I need to quit thinking about the negatives, the frustration, and the exhaustion, and just go out and run. If I'm fast, I'm fast. If I'm slow, at least I went out and tried. I try to use the time to decompress and reflect so that I can be more present with my family and students. People don't understand how terrified of snakes I am. Y'all really want to see a grown man cry while running?
Oh, my God.
Hey, I appreciate the honesty.
Oh, God. It's like when I was running at 5 a.m. in Texas when I was just there for work, I got hooted at by an owl and it scared me. And then I ran by like tall grass and there was like audible rustling and it was pitch black outside with like a couple lights on the trail. And I was like, what animals live here?
Yeah.
Is it a coyote? Is it an armadillo? Like, what is out here?
God.
God.
Yeah, but motivation is always a hard one. And how do you stay motivated?
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good attitude.
Yeah, I think so. Like, that's very much my approach. Like, if I have a good day, I have a good day. If I have a bad day, I always think about it. At least I got my miles.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then I'm okay like making a split decision because it's really hard for me to get motivated, especially on like weekday mornings where even this morning I had to run 6 and I didn't want to do it. I walked the first 10 and then I said, well, I'll get to 3, see how I'm feeling, and I'll make a decision to get off this treadmill or not. And I usually when I get to that 3, I say, I can do a little bit more. I can do a little bit more. And I
Yeah.
just kind of take it just a little bit at a time. And then Tanya, oh gosh, I wrote a novel and deleted it because this isn't Penguin House.
I love it.
I did have a little chat with her about that afterwards, but
She's
go on
so
first.
Funny. All right. The short answer is I actively work to empathize with myself in the feelings I'm feeling. Remind myself that they're valid And also that my running shoes will be there waiting when I'm ready. It's such good advice. Having an upcoming race helps motivation, whether it's to actually train or just get out there and stoke the fires of enjoyment again. Injuries are hard and the memes help as I get frustrated watching from the sidelines. But this also allows me to plan for my comeback. And if anyone knows this, Virgo, I do love the plan. I do love to plan.
Yes, I told her that she should have just left the novel because we have some other novels. And she was like, I just didn't want to I didn't know if anyone really needed to hear it or care about it. And I said, that's
that was
part
the
of
point.
the thing.
Yeah,
that is actually
Yeah.
what she said. And that's what I said to her. What she hit it on the nose. Like, you don't want to burden people
Yes.
with your thoughts or your problems or whatever is going on. And so you hold it inside and then we feel alone. And she hit it so hard on the nail of why I wanted to do this episode.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope that if this does one thing, it shows us that we're not alone, that we all feel like this and we all go out there and don't want to do it and feel like shit. I'm sorry, Michael, but whether we're injured or not, we go out there and we all don't want to do it a lot of the time.
I thought you were going to say that I should just express my frustration in real time and not bottle it up until I'm a little whiny baby.
Oh, he is a whiny baby.
And I snap at people.
Feel the feelings, Tom. Feel the feelings.
I'm good.
We have Victoria. When I'm having a bad run race day, I remind myself that all things I've done that I never could have imagined. I focus on all that running has brought into my life, like community, traveling, confidence, and bravery to go outside my comfort zone. And remember that nothing can take that away from me.
Amen.
I love that so much.
That's a perfect way to summarize it.
Yes. If I'm struggling to get out for my run, I try getting to the root of it. Sometimes I need to take an extra day off or a couple weeks off when I got injured training for my first marathon, or need to grab a snack and hydrate, or my plan needs to change. And then doing my best to not beat myself up about it. Easier said than done. Because I know that listening to my body and taking care of myself is just as important to my goals as a training plan. That is very true. Other times I need to push through the mental hurdle. It's been really humbling and powerful to get into the habit of being honest with myself instead of hyper fixating on a plan or sacrificing my health to achieve a goal. During a run that is going especially poorly, I remind myself how proud I'll feel when I'm done. While I'm proud of myself of the finish lines and PRs, I'm really, really proud of myself for showing up as a well-rounded human, doing her best to stay healthy. That was beautiful.
That's some really good perspective.
That whole thing just is beautiful.
Shell, running has taught me that feelings are temporary, bad and good.
Amen. God.
This has given me the perseverance to get through bad times and the knowledge to hold on to the good moments for dear life. Sorry if that is too sappy. It has also taught me not to eat chicken and waffles at Shady Casino off the Vegas Strip before a midnight marathon in the desert with no porta potties.
Seems specific, but we'll take it.
Yeah. You can take it as general advice, specific advice, whichever you choose.
Oh my God.
So our friend Emily, running was my escape from 2007 to 2016. I ran like a boss in my own mind, but running through injury out of stubbornness ended my miles. I had to mourn the person I was. It felt like the death of the me I was so proud of. What was extraordinary about me without running? I felt like an imposter afterwards with my 26.2 stickers and started saying, I used to be a long distance runner to people.
Oh.
Now so much time has passed. Most people are shocked to find out that I was a runner. How did I get that far removed from the life that gave me confidence and joy?
Oh my God.
All right. So Emily is actually one of my very first run friends from an old run club. I'm not even sure if she listens to this, but I really wanted to put this in here because I think it is important to talk about the possibility that people get injured to the point where they can't run again. Like I know a couple people who have had permanent like stress fractures in their hip, and they were told if they returned to run, it could like break their hip and be tragic. So Emily was one of the first people who I ever ran the Ocean City Bridge Loop with, and I just remember it so clearly. She is one of the most positive people I know. I haven't talked to her in years. We kind of keep up with each other on social media. But yeah, she's an inspiration. She inspired me so much throughout the beginning of my running journey. She was part of the reason why I decided to run my first marathon. So yeah, I mean, it makes me sad that there is a possibility for all of us at some point that, you know, our running careers could be over. And I think that's what we all live in a little bit of fear of when we get injured. So I don't know. I thought that was an important piece of I don't know, sadness, even though it is really sad.
Yeah.
But it's important to acknowledge.
It's important to acknowledge that it's a possibility. It's important to acknowledge that if it happens to you, that's okay. That doesn't mean something's wrong with you or you know, the way she put it, that she lost her me.
But that's honestly like what even as an injured person, you go through like this point where you're like, what am I without running? Like if I can't run anymore, like what am I? Yeah. And how do we move through that is important. So I would actually love to hear a little bit more about how she eventually moved through that. But yes.
Main Street Miles Meg. I too am really struggling with being sidelined from ankle surgery recovery. This recovery has been brutal and not going as planned. My original timeline for recovery has been thrown out, and now they're just saying week to week, month to month. Nerve damage from surgery is not helping either. This has been terrible. I miss running so bad. Honestly, I'd just be happy to walk without pain and not have to spend hours every day with PT exercises that are slow at helping. Thank you for being such a wonderful podcast and creating such a caring community and keeping me smiling and laughing. No small task at this moment. I'll also never, ever forget Aaron screaming, cheering so loud at the last finishers at the Princess Half. I was one of those finishers that came in right behind the balloon ladies. I had my ankle injury then, and that was the worst my worst half time-wise, pain-wise, and mentally by far. It meant a lot to have amazing people still there cheering.
Yeah, that was one of my, I always talk about that as being one of my favorite cheer experiences. Getting to watch those last finishers come in with the balloon ladies. So,
gosh, and just
I'm so sorry. That sucks. It just not even have a timeline. I know how frustrating that can be.
It's got to be so bad, but
know that we're here for you and that we will continue to cheer you on through your recovery. And if you're having a hard day or hard moments, you know, always feel free to reach out to me because I'm all about talking about the hard stuff now.
Yeah. And the PT exercises are terrible. So
yeah,
they are.
Yeesh.
All right. Jessica Garand. So here are my feels. Feeling guilt. As I write this, I instantly feel guilty knowing many others in the running community are in a worse situation than I am right now. In perspective, I know I can at least walk the race and finish. My love and support and usual sunny disposition goes out to everyone with sprinkles of running love. Oh, that's sweet. The running guilt is real, though. I will say that because I know that, you know, Nicole was had ACL surgery and she has like 6-month timeline. And I was like, well, I know I only have like 12 weeks. And she's like, can you stop that? Like, don't feel bad about like where you are. And she's right. Jessica, don't feel bad about where you are.
Yeah.
Feeling frustrated. I will start by saying I'm fortunate that my running injury happened back in June and I have since mostly recovered. I'm frustrated by the fact that even though I'm getting longer distances, they are 6 to 7 plus miles behind where my original training distance should be. I'm even more frustrated than old injury in my knee that was recovered 2 years ago has popped up and is keeping me from running the distances I replanned for dopey training. My foot is fine, but my knee is being a turd. Feeling crappy. At this very moment, I'm sitting on my couch sick. Not the vid or the flu, just a cold, scratchy throat, headache, sinus congestion, and exhausted. I'm sure I'm sick due to the lack of sleep and the unusually high level of stress at work the past few weeks has beaten down my immune system. I have long distance Saturday, and I hope I can recover enough to get the job done. Also, it's led to me stealing my kids' snacks and juice box for comfort food. FOMO. Total FOMO from all the fall races. I told myself not to sign up for anything until dopey ends. Needing to rest all these injuries, but not feeling left behind. Feeling thankful. I am immensely thankful for this running community, thankful to the amazing podcasts like We'll Run For who get me through the suck of runs and lift my spirits with things to do along the way like scavenger hunts. Thankful for my trainer who has moved mountains to modify sessions to one leg and has been my fitness cheerleader. Feeling hopeful, love, and excitement. As Dopey gets closer, I'm finishing up plans with roomies. Shout out to Melissa and Erica. We're getting park and dining reservations set, costuming, expo plan set is pushing me to do better and be consistent in my strength training and mobility work to make up for the lack of distance running. Why haven't you played the Oscar music to play me out yet?
I love her.
I love this.
This is super long as I'm home, on the couch, willing my immune system to get its together because I have training to do. Feel free to edit as needed. You asked for feelings and you got it. These are my feelings we'll run for. I feel guilt, frustration, crappy sickness, FOMO, thankfulness, hopefulness, love, and excitement. With this dopey training cycle without all this chaos? Would it be dopey training cycle without all this chaos? With that said, I'll close with this. Remember the wise words of the Beatles. Turn, turn, turn. Looking forward to seeing everyone at Marathon Weekend.
Wasn't that the Birds?
That was 100% the Birds. I was just going to say that.
Jessica.
Look, all right, we're on emotions, but we need to.
That was near perfect.
Guys, wow. Way to bring that down.
No, we're not discrediting anything she said, but we're fact checking the song artist.
That was awesome. My gosh. I love how she went through all the different things. Basically, we all kind of run through, you know? Like that we all go through over and over. And
we've all felt every single one of those. And it's interesting. I'm actually a little glad she mentioned guilt because I've been feeling a lot of that training for Dopey, especially because everyone we know is injured. A lot of us are just struggling, and I feel like I'm in a relatively good place.
And you should not feel guilty about feeling
guilty
good.
Because of it.
And you shouldn't. But it's just like anything else. Like I said, like I'm injured, but I have to remember like I'm in my own space, just like Nicole has told me, like, yes, maybe hers is a longer process to get back, but like it doesn't discount my emotions and my feelings.
Exactly.
So, it's just hard place to be when you're talking to someone and you're like, oh, well, might get to start running soon. And like, or someone who has like my friend Linda, who was also given like a 6-month long lead time. And then I'm like, well, I might start running. And then I feel bad that I'm going to start running and she can't yet.
Yep.
All right. And our final one, we have Chiquita19722 is Lisa. In 2019, I ran Detroit Marathon, had a great race with no prior injuries. 2020, I ran Dopey, no injuries, great race, just very warm. It was warm. We can attest to that. In March of 2020, the world shuts down. April 2020, my oldest son passed away unexpectedly 2 weeks before his 22nd birthday.
Oh my God.
I live in Canada, he was in the States, and I had to find a way to bring him home and couldn't plan a funeral. We were robbed of that opportunity of celebrating his life because of the pandemic. While everything was closed, all I could do was walk outside. Running was out of the question. Whenever my heart rate got elevated, it would bring me back to the moment I found out that he had passed away. At the time, I did not know it was PTSD. It was just scary. Doctor told me that I needed to make sure I drank water, continue walking or some form of exercise, and try to sleep. But I was having nightmares. I started doing exercise classes outside. I thought the more I exercised, the better I would feel. I needed to be around people, but that became difficult. I lost a child and relationships changed. People started avoiding me. That was really hard. So I was grieving my son and relationships I had lost. I eventually started running again, but I had lost weight because I wasn't eating. I was forgetting to drink water, and sleep was horrible. I ran 2.2 miles for my son's 22nd birthday. It was the fastest run I had ever done. Well, when I was finished, I was limping. I stretched and iced. Later, I signed up for Disney races and registered for the Star Wars weekend to run the 5K in honor of him. I was gutted when it was canceled. I was limping this whole time. I thought it was a muscle strain, so I went to the doctor and was basically medically gaslit. She pulled out the picture and asked me to point to where I was having the pain and said I'd been through a lot. It's probably just a muscle strain, but if it makes you feel better, we can send you for imaging. I got the ultrasound and it was a calf tear.
Good God.
And I was injured from May through November. Signed up for Dopey, entered the lottery for Chicago, and signed up for virtual New York City Marathon for guaranteed entry this year. I knew I couldn't run the virtual, but walked self-supported despite my family thinking I was crazy. But everything I had been through, I needed to do something. My other 3 boys were watching. Was accepted for Chicago. Forgot I also signed up for the Detroit Marathon in January of 2020. My race calendar was Dopey 2022, Chicago, and New York City. The final day of Dopey, I felt tired, but pretty good. One of the race announcers said, "Think of everything you have been through the last 2 years. Here we are, the victory lap." I lost it by mile 13. I walked off the race course. If I had finished the race, it would have been my first Disney race without my son, and I wasn't prepared to feel that way. I had all the emotions. I think back to that day and wish I had a running buddy or someone to text me and let me know it was going to be okay. I was crushed, especially seeing all the posts on social media. My head just wasn't in the game. A Run Disney friend sent me a book called Atomic Habits. A side effect of trauma is loss of concentration. I was an avid reader before, but couldn't concentrate anymore. When I got this book, everything changed. I read a few pages, and it mentioned to try to create a habit by doing something for 10 minutes every day. Game changer. I thought I can do that. It took me the entire summer to read it, but I did it. I was mostly running alone. I listened to you guys religiously and look forward to the podcast each week. I felt I was part of your group. I started therapy, reliving stuff again, and it was mentally exhausting. I had opposite problem than in the beginning. I had gained 30 pounds as I talked about my feelings. Running became more difficult. I was much slower and beating myself up for it and had self-doubt. Summer training sucked, questioning why I was doing this. Summer training sucked, and I was questioning why I was doing this. I've always been a runner. I ran when I moved to a new city to meet people. I ran after I had my last 2 babies to try and get back into shape. I ran after my son died. So many ups and downs, but running was always constant, positive in my life. It's like meditation for me. I decided to give myself grace. I figured if I put in all the training, I deserve to be at the start line. It's always about the journey to get there. I got to Chicago and had my slowest time ever. I got sick right before, but I showed up. I ran until I couldn't run at that moment. and told myself, decide you are going to be okay and decide I could walk the rest. And I did. I'm a back of the pack runner. There were lots of people with me walking the last few miles. All the mile markers were gone. All the aid stations were told to get in the sidewalk. I told my kid I wasn't going to stop. When I got to the final turn, I lost it. I think every emotion I ever had erupted at that moment. I got there with my own 2 feet because I decided every morning to get out there, out of bed, and put my feet on the floor. The hardest part of death is living through it without dying. When I saw the finish line, there was a fence. We could not go through it. For a moment, I was sad. A race volunteer took my photo, and then we had to walk around the fence. I asked if we got a medal. He said yes. I was shocked. I turned the corner, and they had a timing mat with people cheering us on and waiting to give us our medal. It was amazing. I gathered my stuff, and I was alone, and at that moment, everything hit me. I knew my son was with me, cheering me on, telling me to crush those goals. I'm sharing this because you never know what someone is going through. My injury was on the inside. It was clearly showing up on the outside. I've had so many setbacks with running the last few years, but I'm still here. So, I finished Detroit and now headed to New York. I'm celebrating life right now. In this season, I am a different runner, not running for goals or PRs, but for people who can't, for people who aren't there, for the people left behind, and like my family, and for the family like ours, running for survivors.
I got nothing.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
Just so powerful.
I just can't even talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent me that message. She said she'd been through a lot and she had something that she wanted to put together, but it was going to take her a while. She had sent it to me and I thought about editing it down a little bit, but I just felt like this story was, it's powerful and just one that, I don't know, I felt like needed to be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you could take out of there.
No, Lisa, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I think, and Aaron and I are basically in tears, but I think
Yes.
part of what that is, it was, so much heartbreak, but then it ended so hopefully.
Yeah.
There was so much hope. And honestly, just hearing all of that and how miserable I was feeling 2 hours ago, like, I don't want to run. This is dumb. My legs hurt. I want to go out and I want to do a couple miles right now at 10 o'clock at night. That's so weird.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, the thing about running that keeps us running is often the mental health aspect that we talk about a lot. And, it's funny that somebody said to me, like I said earlier, we're emotional runners. I think it was Tanya when I was trying to tell her that it was okay that her thing was long. Yes, we all have so many feelings and so much emotion. And that's part of what keeps us running too, is that we're trying to release some of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I in a way understand what she's talking about, but not I obviously didn't lose a child, so that's a very different feeling. But I know people obviously who lost parents during the pandemic and couldn't have funerals. My dad passed away in the summer, and so for me, running taught me when I had to just buckle down and just forget everything else and just do what had to be done. That's kind of what you do during those long grinds, those long runs, those long races, and you kind of put everything else aside and just do what you need to do for whoever's with you, whether you're running with somebody or taking them to radiation 5 days a week, whatever it is. So you just I don't know, maybe for me, it helps balance emotions and helps you understand them and work through them, and
Yeah.
Or give you that escape to not think.
Yeah. That's a lot of time depending on what you're doing out there alone with your feelings. I know that's when my dad passed when I was in college, I commuted to campus about 45 minutes. And that's when I would think and get emotional. I wasn't a runner at that point, but I can't even imagine what that would have been like, just being out there kind of alone with my thoughts.
With your thoughts. It's scary to be alone out there with your thoughts, even when you're not going through some of that stuff. So I mean, I can totally imagine. I really want to thank everyone who submitted stuff. I know Tom said it at the beginning of the segment, but really to end with something so emotional and just so vulnerable, just putting it out there so that other people who might also be going through the same thing of having lost somebody, whether it be a child, a parent, a spouse, whatever, you're not alone. Those injuries are also real. They might be emotional, they might be internal, but those injuries are there also. And how we get through them with this thing called running is incredible.
Yep. And listen to your body, as we've heard that over and over again, and trust yourself. And one of the things Lisa said is she knew something was wrong when she went to the doctor, and the doctor tried to tell her it was in her head, and then she got the test that she needed. Or
advocate for yourself.
Advocate for yourself. And I think I even said this on the last episode. We are so scared that we're going to get injured and we're going to have to sit out of something. But what I've been hearing from people, and even kind of what I've learned myself, is the sooner you go to the doctor and have it looked at, the sooner you're going to find out what's wrong and either prevent it from getting worse and save yourself a lot of trouble, or know that, hey, I need to make these changes, and then hopefully not get totally sidelined. I think that's what you said, your friend Emily, that she pushed herself.
She ran through too many injuries.
And if, hey, that feels weird, go to the doctor.
Yeah. Well, you're listen to Diana, everyone. She's
shocking. It's shocking.
She's the smarter one somehow.
It's shocking.
And if anybody else has any other feedback that they want to share, it's an open conversation that we'd love to continue to have with everyone. We are sorry if you listened to this out on your runs and made you feel all your feels, but feelings are good to have. So,
and I feel like if anything, it's very evident that even though running is a very personal thing and it's like you versus the pavement or the trail, you're definitely not alone in however you're feeling. At least you can see that there's a lot of commonality between a lot of people.
And we're so appreciative of this community. I mean, the fact that there was a common thread in so many of these of like you listening to our podcast is just, I mean, like beyond me, to be honest. Like I just, sometimes when people talk about how like our podcast helps them get through something, I'm like, really? Us? Are you sure we're talking about the same thing?
That was never the intention. And if that's a byproduct of us doing this consistently and just being whoever we are,
it's the price of fame, Tom.
I'm not. I didn't want to say that at all because like that's
I know.
that's a heavy charge, right? Like But we are so appreciative of the community and how everyone's interacting together and how people are meeting people through this. And the other podcasts that we talk to, like, it's such a good community of good people who share a passion for a sport, but then also each other.
Yeah.
You know? And I'll just put a plug out there. We have never made any kind of statements that we're professionals in anything we do. And there's a lot of heavy thoughts that are going on. There is no shame in the therapy game. Like, I know back in the day there used to be a stigma about it, but professionals are out there. You can
Yes.
always lean on your friends and fellow runners, but professionals are out there.
100%.
You know.
Yeah, and it's good to ask for help, and I think this podcast has brought me so many wonderful people that I never would have known. I just think about Anna and Maria, and I've known Susanna through like the old shenanigans days and all of that. But my friend Kimberly, she was struggling, and we're all going through stuff, and she said, "Can I just can you just who do you know that would be good to like keep motivated and do some accountability and just super
Yeah.
positive?" And I thought about them immediately and created just a group chat on Facebook, just so that people can say like what they're doing and how they're feeling, whether they had a good run or a bad run or something like that. And just it's filled with so much positivity. And I know it's hard for Maria right now because she is injured. And she struggles, right? And she has good days and she has bad days, but she's never not been encouraging. And I think that's what the running community is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for us this week, I think we were talking that it seems a little silly to do something good where we talk about our random things that we're into this week, when really our something good this week is running and you guys. At the end of the day, it's just this community that we've built.
Yeah.
Is
that I get
everyone's something
sentimental
good.
at the end of all of these things and always want to love on our community. So it feels appropriate that Diana felt the same way this week. That we should just leave this one with you guys. You guys are something good.
Yeah. And I cry a lot, but I'm not super sappy. So for me to be feeling all in my feels.
Unlike me, who is always happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was looking up quotes.
Oh God.
I had something else, but
Is it Ben Franklin?
No, it was gonna be Rocky Balboa talking about it's not about how you get hit, it's how you get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh God.
And that's great, but like
it's not right, it's not appropriate.
No, I'll leave you with this. I have no idea who said this. This is from the internet, if you're familiar.
Oh boy.
You're familiar with the internet.
It says
Google's.
Yeah. It's actually on Pinterest, but
oh boy.
It says the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. And
okay, that's very sweet.
We're just gonna say
sweet, but now I
that's
can't
actually appropriate.
I know. But hey,
you found it on a Pinterest board.
I did find it on a Pinterest board. But seriously, keep supporting each other. That's all anybody can do. That's all we can ever ask for. And we really, really appreciate anybody listening. And with that, I guess we'll say goodbye.
Feelings.
Bye.
Nothing more than feelings.
Oh, you guys can't see my toe.
Oh, can you put your toe down for real? I cannot deal with this all night.
Michael, oh,
just the
God.
toe. I can't with the toe. You
have hobbit feet.
I cannot.
They're not hobbit feet. Hobbits have nicer feet.
Ew.
They're hairy, but they're nice.
They're like hobbit feet at the end of Return of the King.
Guys, I have to
After
pee now.
Frodo's been to Mount
at
Doom.
this for so long, I gotta pee now.
So we're recording, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I can save it for the end.
It's fine.
The worst part is like the week and a half when it slowly falls off and I have to tape it down so I can actually like put socks on and stuff without ripping it off accidentally.
God. How did yours fall off?
Slowly, I assume.
I don't know. I ran one time and it just lightly, like it wasn't bad at all. I think it just gave up.
It just gave up. Yeah, the small ones aren't bad. Sometimes they just fall off. Big toe isn't as fun. It really didn't feel great. I had to put Neosporin on it, soak it in like Neosporin for 2 days because it was getting infected.
Oh my god! Ew.
God, I hate
He's
it.
talking about
I
his
hate all of
Neosporin
you.
toe.
I know. I know.
All right, ready?
As he's wrapping it and bandaging it and soaking it. Blech.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Inside the. Let's start that over again.
Oh,
shit.
we need to keep that for later.
Oh,
Oh, God. Are you a professional, Tom?